Hello and welcome back to my channel. To be honest, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to make a video about, so I thought about just showing you some of my smaller armies and what I've done with it and what I'm going to do with it in the future. Because I think these armies need to be expanded upon a little bit, but also some idea I had for them. So let's start with the two smaller ones. This is the Horse Knight and the Snake Knight. So the Horse Knight, I simply just have the king as he normally is, and his regular minifigs that came with the set itself. These four was from, I think these are the four from the 3-in-1 Horse Knight Castle. And I think these are fine, excellent figurines because you get the king, of course, and then you get an archer, what's a dueling knight, and a spear holder. But I wanted to bolster the forces a little bit, so I created these two using the Griffin Knight's helmet as infantry soldiers, because since I have the Horse Knight Castle, I think it was a good way to create these, instead of just creating more spearmen, also giving them just regular sword, but also the Griffin Knight helmet I think works really well. But I'm probably going to exchange them for a nasal helmet in the future, just for the unity and so that my Griffin Knights seems a little bit different. And then I decided to make a heavy knight using the Dragon Paladin's CMF line, where I basically took the entire minifig because I think the color scheme works really well with the Horse Knights. And even the shield, I know it's a blue dragon on it, I think worked really well to showcase that this is kind of like a stronger version of a knight compared to like these characters. I even gave him a little bigger sword, which I'm not sure what about, but I think actually looks really good on him, and I kind of like him. And then I just gave him the dragon plume because this was the one plume I just had lying around. But I'm probably going to change it out with a blue plume or a white plume in the future. And the same with the other knights I have down here. Then we have my Snake Knight, and I only actually have 3 of those with, which the original one from the Horse Knight. Then I made an archer and a warrior, but I wanted to make that a little bit different than just a normal human knight, because I wanted to introduce magic, so I made the infantry knight a vampire, which I thought could be really fun. So yeah, it's a little bit different from what I would normally have done in a castle theme, but that led me down to try to create some other knights using spare parts I just have, because I only had these 3 torsos from it. So I made a werewolf using that was a guardsman that has this shield from, I think it's a Harry Potter set, which is a very basic figurine, but I think this really also gives the idea that there are different kinds of shield for the faction. Yeah, and I know it doesn't match the color completely, but I think it actually fits really well to this demonic force of enemies. And then I made a heavy knight, which is basically using the trick of hiding a random torso underneath with some purple on the leg just to show it, and then of course another one of these basilisk shield, I think it is, and then an orc sword from the Lord of the Rings series. And I think it turned out really well, and I'm probably going to give him a yellow plume in the future. But I also wanted to make him like a monster underneath, so that all of the non-humanoids are a little bit different. And then I took this one, where I gave him the Snake Knight shield and just made him a guardsman, but using this Ninjago piece armor just to try to bulk him up a little bit with an old torso of, I don't remember exactly where it's from, and with the Darth Maul hair to make this demon looking knight. And I think it turned out pretty well. I'm probably going to change the torso and the legs out in the future, but I really like the idea that this army is inflicted by other demons and werewolves and vampires and all kinds of monsters. especially because it works really well, in my opinion, to make this demonic army kind of forces. And that is basically about my Horse Knight Snake Knight. And while I really like them, and I'm pretty much going to be using them in the future, they are not my favorite factions of the 4 knight themes we have going around now. I think I've made it pretty clear that this probably is the Kraken Knights, which is continuously expanding upon. But I also really like the Griffin Knight torso. Now, quick little thing. I know this has nothing to do with the Griffin Knight, but I want to make this the leader because, as I told in an old other video, I tried to make this Odysseus from Epic the Musical. So this is why he is here. It's basically this. But that led me to try to create this more sea-bearing army. And this is what I meant with I'm probably going to change these helmet out with these helmet at some point. But because these two are from the new gift with purchase of the Sea Serpent. And I think they fit really well into this little army. So first off, I made a spearman, and this is probably what many people just instantly think of when they think of a soldier with a spear and a shield. And I think they fit really well, and it's basically one of the reasons why I think this torso and leg combo is one of the better one, because if we take a look at the Sea Serpent CMF, just changing them arm, it gives them a whole different kind of vibe, and I really like that. So here we have a basic swordsman, but as you can see, they're using different shield because I don't have enough Griffin Knight shields to fill out the entire army with them. But that led me to make this kinda Odysseus inspired one with Eurylochus, which having a big sword. So I just made a big sword guy, kind of like an advisor for him, and another warrior for my faction, who just have a big sword because, well, it is fun. I know I should probably have made him a more heavy armored one if I really wanted to make him kind of like the combat faction, but my really heavy armored ones, I always have been loving this armor piece here where it's covering half the shoulder, and I think this is the torso I have found worked the very best for it, because it's basically melts into the armor thanks to this chest up here, creating this really awesome armored looking character. And you can even, if we take this helmet here, something I tried a little bit, if you want to make him even more heavy, just giving a full face helmet to make him a completely monster. But since the Griffin Knight are very unanimous using this one, I've been using it just to create this, what I think it's my best looking heavy knight I have made in a while. That leads me on to my commander, where I made this guy using a cutlass, because I got this belt piece from the Ninjago line where they can hold cutlass in it, and I wanted to make kind of like a commander like of him. So I use a Mando cape just to show that while he is high up on the ranking, he's not as high as all the other as my kingly characters. And if you notice, most of my ruling characters often wear capes. So having this great cape works really well with the torso, again, because it flows into the color scheme of the torso itself. And if I find more of these out there, I'm probably going to create more of these kinds of commanders, because I really like the Mando cape. It's one of the better capes out there. Now that leads into my archer, where I actually used the headpiece from the Monster Hunter CMF, if I can get it to focus. And this crossbow, which I'm probably going to exchange into a bow when I get some more bows in my collection, because right now all my bows are scattered around other characters. But I think, again, this just shows how well this torso works, because this quiver, if we remove the torso itself, it actually looks like it's something that fits really well thanks to the red color scheme. So I really like what they did with the Griffin Knights color scheme, all in all, for making random knights. And that leads me into my three last one, where this is just the X-Men from the Sea Serpent, so I'm not going to spend more time on him. Other people have made it. But I also made this guy here using a giant halberd. And again, shows just, again, I really like how it looks, just like him standing around with it. It's a very simple minifix, but I don't think all in all that making complicated minifigs is always the best part. And this guy is probably the reason why. You see, I basically just have a black head inside of him, and putting this tournament helmet on him, creating this ominous looking knight wielding a black sword, and for once I actually just used this blank pizza-like shield to create this weird amalgamation of a knight, which I really think could also be made into a gladiator boss, just by removing the shield and giving him a trident and a cutlass in gold, which is actually something I probably is going to do next time I order some pieces from Pick a Brick. But I really like the idea of using tournament helmet and even these kinds of helmet here with nothing inside, just to create this mysterious character for my armies. So yeah, all in all, these are just some of my smaller armies. They're not as big as my Kraken Knight or my zombie armies, but I tried to create some unique looking characters using pieces I had available to me, but also mostly sticking to the theme of what they represent. And I know it's not the most impressive looking so far, but in the future I hope I can make some more awesome warriors using simple pieces. I'm especially probably going to order a lot more Griffin Knights, just because I think they fit in very well. Because thanks to them not having a signal on the torso, they can pretty much fit into any army just by replacing their arms, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I'm probably going to experiment on in the future, just to create these awesome looking, using these awesome looking torso to create bigger armies of whatever I want. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and sorry about this being more of a rant video again, and I hope you enjoyed. Have a nice day. Bye.